Well, good afternoon, everybody. What is today? Today is Friday, July 12th. This is the Ocean Pines Advisory Committee for Bylaws and Resolutions. We are having a hybrid meeting. We do not have quorum at this time because there are only 2 official committee members because unfortunately Mr. Joe is not considered an official member, Joe.
Yeah, Augie's not here.
Until right, Augie's Augie's out of the country, and Camilla had a last minute court thing that she had to do. Until after the director's meeting, when hopefully it will be official, then we'll have a quorum. So, and considering that Augie's not here, is it okay if we record this discussion? Because that way we can, just like we did back in April, we won't have official minutes.
We can't vote.
But we'll have a discussion that we can post later, and we won't be able to approve our June meeting minutes today. So our next meeting, we'll have to do that, which won't be until September. So it's going to be a little delayed, but I think that would be good. And that way, Augie and Camilla can watch our discussions as well. Okay. So my name is Laura Pangratz, and I am the committee chairperson. And as always, I'd like to introduce our other committee members that are present today.
Keith Kaiser, Ocean Pines resident since 2014.
I can't remember. I've got
2014.
So actually, I think we got we got our house in 2014 also, but I've only been full-time here for about 2.5 years. So there's just one back. What I would like to, and our 2, as stated earlier, 2 of our committee members, Augie and Camilla, are unable to be here, so they are excused for their absence. Our board liaison, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Steve Jacobs, board liaison.
Thank you. And then I would like to introduce our guests. So would you like to go as our guest temporarily?
Joe Peloso, full-time Ocean Pines 2017, homeowner since 1991.
Oh, very good, very good. Okay, thank you. You will be official by the next meeting that we have. So, Bob, you go ahead next.
Yeah, Bob Hilligus, former committee member and a resident since, I got to think again, 1999.
Would you like to say last century?
And Jim?
I'm Jim Promo, also former committee member, resident owner since 2002.
Very good. Well, thank you all for coming tonight. Since we don't have quorum, we might not have a super long meeting then, you know.
Who's Clifford?
Do we have any other guests here that would like to introduce themselves? Mr. Clifford, I can't see the rest of the name.
I don't know, there's 2 there.
Okay, so we will move on. Keith, we have, we're not formally voting to record the meeting, but are you okay with doing that?
I am.
For reasons today. Okay, thank you. We did that. Approval of the agenda, since we're not really voting on anything. This is the agenda that we will be discussing. One here at this time, we'll have some updates. Does anybody have anything they want to add to the agenda? So let's see. Next up, since we cannot approve the minutes from our June meeting, we will table that and do that at our next meeting where we have quorum. And after that on the agenda is public comments. Do any of our guests have any comments that they would like to share as a formal public comment at this time?
I have nothing to offer at this time.
Well, I do have some comments on the M09 draft. No, that by and large, they're non-substantive. They've been called proofreading. I don't know how we're going to go forward if you're going to discuss M09. I can make some comments now, or if possible, depending on the Robert's Rules of Order, which I guess wouldn't be applicable right now, I can make them at some later time.
Okay, all right.
They're non-substantive, the proofreading type of comments.
Okay, so they're for the M09, so we can do that when we get down to that one on the under unfinished business.
Okay.
Does our other guest,
I have no comments.
okay, and then our other guest on there, I guess, Mr. Clifford? Or is
Hi.
that,
Well,
or is it Sherry?
hi, it's Sherry Clifford.
Okay, give me a
And
minute.
I'm just here to learn more.
Gotcha, okay. Do you have any public comments that you want to make? Did you say? I can't remember.
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Okay, all right, perfect, thank you. All right, so the chairperson's report. The task that I have completed, we did at our last meeting complete and sign the application for Joe as a candidate for this committee. It was also signed and endorsed by our board liaison. The application was given to Linda Martin with the general manager's office. And then it should be added to the July 20th directors meeting when the agenda comes out. We'll know for sure if it's on there, but it should be as one of the, towards topics towards the end when they add new committee members. So hopefully that will go smoothly. I also emailed the following committees, which I have also listed under our unfinished business. I emailed Budget and Finance to find out if there's an update on the status of the unnamed F resolution statement, whether it's going to become a resolution and how they've started that process of forming the documentation for it, or if not, so that we know whether or not, because I believe it's still listed in the book of resolutions and it's not an official resolution. So it either needs to come out of that book or become a resolution. I emailed the Aquatics Committee chairperson about the renewal or the review of their resolution C15. Have not had a response from them. I emailed the Golf Committee chairperson about C11 meeting review. No response from them. Actually, I took that back. Aquatics did respond to me because I put the wrong name in the header, but the correct body. So they acknowledged the email and said that they will let us know after their meeting. I also emailed the committee chairperson for the ARC committee, which is C02, and the elections committee, which is C08. All of those are up for review. And just as a refresher, our committee keeps a governance tracker, and every 2 years, everyone is supposed to review their specific resolution and then either just let us know if they reviewed it and there's no changes, and that way we can mark it as reviewed and it could be looked at again in another 2 years, or if they are recommending any changes, then it would go through the process through their board liaison to the board, etc., before it comes back to us to note on our tracker that it's been updated. Okay. I did email Michelle in the GM's office asking to confirm, which now that I think about it, have not gotten a response back on that. but I'm going to assume there's no conflicts for our meeting dates scheduled for September through December. We stuck with the second Friday of each month. Same time, 1 to 3, same location here and on Teams. Unless I hear otherwise, I will assume that those are all fine. Then I also emailed her to post our approved May meeting minutes, which have been added to the website, as well as our agenda for today, which actually I guess I could leave that up to complete it now. So my last task still to be completed is to attend the July directors meetings. Ideally, if I can attend in person, I will. If not, because I have 2 jobs on that day, I may have to do the replay. But I will watch it at some point if I can't attend in person. Any questions for me on my report? Okay. All right, so back to the agenda. Next up is I always offer and ask if our board liaison has a report that you would like to present.
Not a lot. The board has got a open special meeting or special open meeting tonight at 5:30 to discuss and I believe ultimately pass the new memorandum of understanding with the volunteer fire department. And I did actually this morning circulate to the board and to council a draft resolution, which hopefully the board will take up at the July board meeting, dealing with their review of the bylaws. So we can close that loop. I had sent an email out to everybody shortly after our last meeting, indicating that the board has a responsibility to review the bylaws. The Bylaws Resolutions Committee is not advocating any particular examination of the bylaws, but in order to keep our governance document in reasonable working order, we need to, and no one had any objection. No one has any desire to review the bylaws. So I thought it would be helpful to get a resolution passed. I haven't checked this afternoon to see if I've gotten any feedback yet. But my assumption would be, that'll pass quite easily. I don't know. Or they'll decide not to even take it up. I don't know which. But.
Can I ask a question? What is the memorandum of understanding?
Make sure you're speaking loud enough so that we
What is the yes, the memorandum of understanding between Ocean Pines and the volunteer fire department?
It's essentially, for lack of a better term, it's I would guess you'd call it a contractual arrangement between us and the fire department, where we agree to how we will meet our varied yet shared responsibilities. It involves, in this case, the construction of the South Station. It involves our revenue commitments to the fire department. It involves commitments by the fire department to raise funds and to provide for certain accounting and books when requested. It tries to tie together our budget operations so that they can come to us when we do our budget review. There's other provisions in there as well. But the feeling was, I think on both sides, that we had a series of memorandums of understanding dating back to, I believe, 1975 or 77, I'm not sure which, some of which replaced prior ones, some of which just added on to them. And the desire was, frankly, to shorten that all to one memorandum of understanding. It should be up, I believe, it should be up on our website.
I know it's under
It
the
is.
packet now.
It's
posted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be posted, and I have, based upon what I've seen and heard, my assumption is that, the board will pass it tonight. The volunteer fire department either has or will, I'm not sure their membership has voted on it yet or not, but I suspect they will. I know they've seen it. And then the president of the fire department, president of our board sign, gets attested to, and so
Thank you.
that's where we are.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Moving on, since we do not have quorum, making sure that we all understand that there is no quorum and there is no voting today, that those who are viewing this understand that because there's no voting, we will not be using Robert's Rules of Order, and we're just going to have discussion, okay? Moving on to our unfinished business, we have, just as a reminder, I'm going to leave it on there until we know what has come of this, but the C14 Racket Sports Advisory Committee, there has not been a second reading yet, and B01 states that is a requirement to repeal a resolution. So we're still waiting to see if that is going to occur.
So last time, Steve, we talked about, you said you were gonna send an email to, I don't know, either the president and council or the board in general about this issue.
Yeah, right. I talked to Bruce about it. Bruce Bright, who's counsel. I talked to him about it at the conclusion of the June board. And he acknowledged, we got to get this done. And I said, well, look, I said, from my point of view, just draft something up and put it on the checklist or get done in July. He said, will do. I'm pretty sure I'll see him again tonight. I'll remind him then.
Okay.
It's distinctly possible it slipped through the cracks with all that was going on. And in fairness to Bruce, we're not his only client.
Yeah.
He's apparently engaged in warfare with the Washington Post, but that's neither here nor there. But at any rate,
I think at this point, it's just an administrative.
yeah, it's just got to get
You
done.
know, and so if I could backtrack for just a minute about the bylaws issue. So the copy of the bylaws that's posted on the website
Under the directors.
has red lines in it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. And I don't know what to do about that. So I don't know if that means that somewhere there's a clean copy that accidentally was not uploaded and instead a red line copy was uploaded. But when you first open it up, it looks clean, right? But if you start paging through it, there's a couple pages that have red lines on it. So that's number one. Number two, and I know we're not voting on anything today, but just something to think about, because we've talked about this in the past. Our bylaws say we can't change the bylaws without a vote of the people, right?
Right.
But if there are non-substantive, administrative only, let's say, spelling, paragraph formatting, administrative functions of the document that have nothing to do with the substantive content of the document. We've talked in the past about having some verbiage in the bylaws that allows that. So let's say we change something in one of our other governing documents that was approved by the board. And because of that, and because of the wording in the bylaws, they technically conflict, but realistically or functionally, there really is no conflict. But the way they read wonky, right? So just something to think about, potentially, administrative corrections to the document, because again, I don't know if there's a clean copy out there that just didn't get uploaded, but the copy that's on there now has got red lines in it. And B, the idea that maybe we should add verbiage in the bylaws that allows us to go in and do minor corrections to the verbiage I don't know, punctuation, whatever, right? Because if you look through it, it's not a clean document. Because it's been modified so many times over the years. It's got different fonts, it's got different formats, so just something to think about.
Right.
In one of my prior existences, they used to call that granting permission for the clerk to make technical and conforming amendments to the.
Can you write that
Um,
down? Technical and conforming.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
but I think that's really what you're talking about.
Yeah,
If,
absolutely.
for argument's sake, one of our resolutions cited the wrong paragraph in the bylaws, even if it's the same
Yes.
subject matter, just because it's the wrong number there.
Yeah, because
It should have been paragraph 3 instead of paragraph 2.
correct,
Yeah.
correct, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the trouble, we've run into in the past where we try not to have repetitive language across multiple documents, because if you change it here, you gotta change everywhere else. And then it becomes a problem because just like you said, now the reference doesn't match what you wrote. So anyway, just something to think about, go in the future when we start talking about bylaws, that if there's not a clean copy out there, then there will have to be some cleanup of the one that's currently posted. And it would just be nice to have, some kind of language in there that allows us to go in and just make these cleanup kind of
Right.
activities.
Sorry, ears are not working right.
So is it possible that whoever in the administration here is responsible for uploading documents on the website missed the clean copy and put?
Well, so there were actually quite a few changes in the bylaws as a result of that last resolution.
In 2020.
So there would, if they had just uploaded the no kidding red line, there'd be way more in there. So either they started to clean it up to create a clean copy to post and just missed a page or two, or something else happened. But what I'm concerned about is because it's been posted there for so long, they may be hesitant to go in there and make any changes to it. Right? Because it's been sitting there for, well, how long ago was that? 3 years? We did that?
2021.
Yeah.
On the website, that's what it says on the front cover.
But my guess is, and I haven't pursued this, but my hunch would be, staff basically took whatever the board passed. The package of changes for the bylaws passed.
And posted that.
And they posted that, which probably incorporated, some red line changes. Now, I'm trying to remember, I honestly don't recall whether or not all of the lot owners got a red line copy and a clean copy. I just don't remember. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't.
I thought the copy was clean.
But the bottom line is, I don't know. I mean, it's worth, and I can consult with the board and council about this. I don't think we could leave it to staff to clean it up. In other words, I think if there's an issue, it may fall back to this committee.
Yeah.
To say, all right, figure out what's got to get done, take care of it, and bring it back to
Yeah.
us. And that could be next year's project.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, it's worth, certainly can be discussed over time. I don't think we can just sort of say to staff, take care of this.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable that it would come back to us to remove those red lines. And
So this is the bylaws that I just pulled up. And
Okay.
it says there in the
Keep
revised
the
on
source, yeah.
August 9th, 2008,
Yeah.
but then amended 2 different times, May 14th, 2021 and May 24th, 2022.
those were the,
That's what 2021
referendum.
was the
I thought
change.
before we worked on it on the 24th, it was clean.
well, so did I. If you go back, it's about halfway in. I forget what section it's in, but you'll literally see some red pens. But I think it would be perfectly reasonable for it to come back to us and,
Yeah.
we can clean it back up.
Laura, can I step into the comment?
Sure.
I've got my hard copy of the bylaws that I downloaded from the director's page of the website. And I can't find what's being talked about now, but there's at least one place in there where it appears to me that what has been done is, instead of changing the wording as was approved, it was just lined through.
Yes,
And there's another place where it pertains to the amendment to the bylaws on the capital equipment expenditure. There's a reference in there, a parenthetical reference is put in there, something about when it was approved, kind of thing. I just wish, I don't think there's anything wrong with what's in the copy that's on the website. It's just the appearance of it is the kind of thing I personally don't like to see. A clean copy should be a clean copy with wording that's changed and just not marked through deleted wording or extraneous comments about when something was approved or comments about the amendment itself. I mean, it's just my comment. Let's put it that way. I don't think you're going to find anything wrong with what's on the website. I think you're going to find the formatting is for lack of a better word, unprofessional.
Jim, you're describing, I think, what I saw. Do you know what page that the example of the line out is on?
Yeah, I'm leafing through it. I haven't found it yet, so
Red
I'm
line.
also
That's what I saw. There was
Also-
one Virginia that had a line to it.
Should be in the section where they
I'm
change
also dealing with a new pair of glasses. It's hard to see.
expenses without.
I don't think it's in the very early part. Let me
Only
skip a couple
requires one
pages.
signature?
Huh?
Does this one only require the one signature?
Signed it.
You know how
Yeah.
all of our resolutions always have, the secretary, the president, the bylaws, the GM's office. I mean.
I know, we'd have to look in
bylaws, do
Caesar
they have
one.
to
I think
sign anything.
Caesar one kind of lays all that stuff out.
This is
right?
the only
Just for
signature on it.
Right. I
And
think
there's no
there
date.
was-
Next to that signature either.
Well, the date's on the front page, it says what it was. what
Well,
was last
but there was two different amendments that it says.
Right, well, one I think was the referendum from,
2021.
yeah, that was it dealing with the amount for board approval when
Uh-huh.
it was dropped, I think, to 1 million.
Right, that's what it was.
Yeah, I think, so that was but the second date that's on there, it reflects the package of revisions that we all worked on, so.
Yeah, look for where the board authority for spending authority is without a resolution. And that's where
That's
that word verbiage in there is where they changed.
Yeah,
it.
so I can't remember the director's.
I'm trying to remember what.
The 1 million provision does no longer have, the most recent revision doesn't have that update reference to it. So I'm mistaken when I said that. I'm still looking for the line through item and haven't found it.
Well, I don't think we gotta
It doesn't matter.
spend a ton of time on this today. Just in general, I think we,
Since we're not voting on
But I
anything,
think
this question about whether or not the bylaws should be looked at, I think at a minimum, it should be looked at just to make sure the document's
Yeah.
clean,
Right.
kind of along the lines of what you said. If
Well,
there's
after that
anything we can
first-
do to go in there and clean it up or formatting wise or whatever.
And after that first referendum that we had to send out for all of these changes and everything, I don't think this committee ever really was given or saw the completed final drafts of the different ones that went back into.
It was mailed on the owner.
Just so that we have access to it, so that when each year, when it comes up, we know which one we're looking
Well,
at.
we
you know?
wouldn't. I mean, once the committee completed its work, it went to the board. And the board did whatever the board did. They either took our recommendations, they didn't take our recommendations. It doesn't make much
And
difference.
modified or
But
required.
they were the ones who were responsible for creating the final document, which went forward on the
Right.
referendum vote. So it may well be, maybe back in the files, there's a document which reflects the completed board action if there's any issue, but we would have to go find that. I mean, that's what it comes
Well,
down to.
one good reference would be, I don't know if the election committee has records, but the ballot had line by line.
Oh, that's true.
Remember, it was line by line. This section, the bylaws changed from this to this, this section, and it was an inventory.
Yeah, it was a package that was sent out
Right.
for voting, yeah, and
Yeah.
we could work from that. without-
Yeah, it would be very helpful if we had a copy of that again. We could just go back through and just make sure it's all lined up.
Okay.
But,
Well, we can
I'm
add
sure
that
I
to
have
the
it
to-do
filed.
list in
Well,
September.
let me talk to the board and to Bruce to see how they want to proceed on this.
Okay.
But I wouldn't see any problem offhand with instructing this committee to undertake a review just to make sure everything is clean.
Yeah.
Bring it back to the board could then deal with it, and then we'll make sure that's what gets posted. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a workable solution.
Okay. All right, so next up on the agenda is, I got your email with the, final proof on the M09. Do you want to go ahead and roll?
well,
Discuss
no,
that? Is there anything on there? Or-
Jim had.
if anybody remembers, what we talked about, basically, I just incorporated the things that we talked about last time.
Jim had.
So maybe,
Suggestion.
But Jim, yeah, Jim, if you've got some,
you tell me where there are.
some issues on it.
Before I take us through M09, just make another comment. I earlier today, after getting this most recent draft, I went back in the website, the application form, the current application form dated March 24th, I believe it is 2023, is a separate item on the website. You can click on that to get an application form. Of course, it's not applicable at this point in time. If you go to the book of resolutions as it appears on the website itself, now that's not the official book of resolutions. The official book sits there, or should sit there, in the GM's office. You call that up on the website and it does not have the application form in it. Now that of course is, as long as it's in as long as it's in the book, it's in the admin offices, it's okay with the bylaws, but as far as what's posted on the website, it's not an up-to-date document. That plays into a little bit something I'm going to get to right now on the M09 itself. You go to the second page. Again, this is basically typographical, whatever. Paragraph 6 all the way down to subparagraph F. The items or subparagraph items under F are kind of weird numbering. You've got 1, 11, and then triple I for those three items.
Different.
Yeah.
Those are Roman.
Different
Yeah.
formats of counting, yeah.
Should be little I, two little I's, three little I's.
Yeah, thank you, Word.
Okay,
Yeah, Word has a habit of
Oh
correcting
my
things.
gosh.
moving right along to something that's even more important. I'm saying that in humor. Subparagraph G, right below it, ends up that says, words to the effect, last sentence, materials that have been stored may be destroyed after 1 year. If you go to the next page, the next paragraph 7, the last sentence of that paragraph essentially ends with the same wording. You can destroy stuff after 1 year. Is twice. I don't know that it's necessary to be twice.
So just a comment on that, because we kind of went through this last time. So G is under paragraph 6, search committee responsibilities. So G, A through G is talking about what the search committee can or cannot do. And then paragraph 7 changes subjects and talks about the staff. And that the staff could be tasked to help with this. So the last line under paragraph 7 is relating specifically to stuff that the staff may generate in the process of helping the search committee. So that's why it's there. It's because 7 is not a part of search committee
Shouldn't
responsibility.
it say then the staff?
Yeah, staff made.
The staff may destroy
Oh.
since it's staff.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Change it, make it easy.
There you go. Okay.
Well, you want to say the staff may destroy, or you want to say the staff may destroy upon being told by the committee or something?
Upon committee approval.
It's the committee's responsibility to destroy the documents. Staff can't do it on their own.
Why don't you just add with committee, with the
consent
committee's
or
approval?
direction or.
With committee.
Staff may just store files on approval of.
Yeah.
Okay. So something like the staff may destroy stored files after 1 year with committee approval. That sound right?
Yeah, or, yeah, committee consent.
Or we
Something, yeah, whatever,
committee
yeah, I
consent.
mean, that's. I don't think that's.
Okay.
But that is a good catch, Jan.
Okay. Whatever.
Okay,
guys.
the last item is actually on the form itself, the second page of the application form in the at the very bottom, almost the very last thing on the form where you have the signature by the applicant. In various places in the attachment A, which is kind of the instructions and information part, and the text of M09, we refer to the applications have to be in by the end of business day on May 10th, or if May 10th is not a full business day, the next full business day. In the very end of that, to the best of my knowledge part, we have 4 p.m. on the business day or May 10th, whichever is the case. One's got to be reconciled. I don't think we should be using a time because the time of business day time. We either set a time, or we leave it as business day, or 4 p.m. on the business day, whichever. But one way or the other, we need to be consistent. And that kind of adds into my comment on the form and what's in the resolution. What's in the actual resolution now is an out-of-date form. And if we're going to change the form, then the form, of course, has to be part of the change that goes to the board. Well, the form should be in what the board sees in any change anyway. Let me back up and try to be clear. We have 4 p.m. the business day in the form, and elsewhere in the resolution and other parts we have at the end of the business day. It needs to be reconciled, one or the other.
Yeah, and the fact that the form that's attached to the current resolution that's on the website, we discussed that before, that version is wrong, and that the one that's under the hyperlink at the bottom of the page, that one is correct. And we had talked about that before. So the one that's at the bottom of the page attached to the hyperlink is this one, which going, I don't even know if this will end up getting approved as is, but if it is, that's what we've attached to our version of this updated M09.
I just happened to scroll up, but do you see at the top of the instruction page there? Is it supposed to say attached is the OPA candidate registration form?
Yep, I saw that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that.
Damn it, Jim.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry.
But these are all
I got it
things that are
circled.
easily fixable, so,
I'm a doctor.
I keep telling you, I got new glasses.
Good
Well, I
catch.
was looking for the,
And that's one of the pages I did not retype, so that's original.
so that was the original.
That's original, yeah. No, I get what he's saying about the time. We either need to,
Where is that?
Looking for it, if it's the form, if we know
I
it
mean, I know where
correct,
it is on
or
the
yes,
application.
then we have to change the resolution to time, to line up with the form.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Right, so.
This is the correct form.
Right, so then you, because this resolution hasn't been approved yet.
Correct,
The
Right.
form has been,
correct.
and rather than going back to get new approval for changing the form, we should just change the language in the resolution.
So what, if we did that, then that would mean we'd be adding 4 PM, like, for example, on the first page where it says, paragraph 4, candidate application form, due no later than the end of the next full business day of the association offices. We'd have to add language in there that says
The time,
no later than 4 PM.
yeah.
Eastern Standard
Yeah.
Time.
I mean,
It's decided 4 PM is the end of the day. I never.
I don't know, it's a weird time. It's a weird time, isn't it?
Well.
Yeah.
Well, 4 o'clock, I'd grab another cup of coffee.
If you look at their door, that's what they say, 9 to 4, the
Oh,
other
okay.
office is open.
Oh, 9 to 4, that's where that comes from. Oh, okay.
Okay.
So we
I
could
believe
do
it
that.
says-
We could add in
Or it might be
here.
4:30, but still, we wanna pick we don't want them walking in just as they're all
Okay.
cutting up,
If you're cutting it that close.
right,
Yeah.
you know?
Up at 4:01, I'm gonna run.
Well, what I could do, since this is all still just draft,
Right.
Yeah.
what I could do is I can go back and tinker with this
Mhm.
and just send out a new draft to the
Okay.
group
How
for next time.
How are you gonna get word to fix your Roman numerals?
Well, first I'll sit there for an hour and a half and fight with it
Right,
because I'll change it and it'll change it back
right.
Oh,
and,
right.
yeah. I'll figure it out. But that's a good catch.
Yeah.
The number 1, the number 11 and Roman numeral 3. Yeah.
I forget what I did. I didn't check something after I sent a letter out to somebody and they came back and said,
You
you
did
really
that
mean that?
purpose.
'Cause
That
we're
was just
changing
to
on me.
make sure we were watching,
Oh, my God.
reading your work.
You know, I had to retype, Jim and et al. This is what you really should look at in this form, because I had to retype it. There is no native version of this form that exists in an editable format. So in order to attach it to this resolution, I had to recreate this thing.
You could
I spent 2 days on that.
print it off.
Yeah,
You can, but there's an electronic file that has to be posted. Right? And I wanted it in the same format, an editable format, so that in the future, it needed to be
Oh, I get
changed.
that. Okay.
Yeah,
I see.
so I
Yeah, because you can't
We appreciate
use
it.
the one that's at the bottom of the board page on the website. You have to print that off and either retype
Yes.
or do it,
and that's what I had to do. I had to
you know,
retype that baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is where the most likely errors are gonna be is in this thing where I retyped it.
Mhm.
Did you have anything else, Jim, on that?
No, that's me. That's all.
That's good
that's
catch.
it, okay,
That's good. And I'll put a new date on here
okay,
to show it's a new draft,
all right.
and then we'll have something to talk about at the next one.
Oh, good.
All right, so that takes care of all the old business. I did not have anything listed for new business, and when I sent the proposed agenda out, nobody came back with any suggestions, so the next thing on the agenda would just be, is there anything on the tracker that we should move forward with that we haven't already done? I think we're caught up, right?
All
I
we
mean,
have are
we're
the,
waiting on,
yes, all we have are those items that you're waiting on feedback from
Okay.
the different committees.
Question, have we looked at those to make sure that there is no conflict in those resolutions between the new bylaws? Remember, we were gonna look at them
What, the ones that are coming due?
the ones that are coming due, just to make sure. I don't think there were. But we agreed we'd look at them to make sure.
I have not looked. What do we got here? We've got the ARC Review Committee,
election,
we've got Elections Committee,
aquatics and golf.
Golf,
Yeah, I would say the
Aquatics.
art would probably be the only one that
The
possibly.
budget and finance one, that was only just because we haven't heard an update on.
Yeah,
Initially, the response was they wanted to make it a resolution, but we tasked them back with performing that duty of creating it and going through their liaison to the directors and all that to set it in the resolution format. But
So just one thing I do point out though, I think I sent an email out about this, but last time we were together, we were talking about how painful it was to change the bylaws.
Mhm.
Because it had to be by resolution, with a 40% participation rate.
If it's a separate.
But that's right, but that's only if it's a separate resolution.
Right.
So if changes to the bylaws were included as part of a board of directors vote,
Doesn't
then
matter what
then you don't,
percentage.
yeah, and it, yeah. So I bring that up because the reason we keep struggling with this whole search committee thing is because it's mentioned in the bylaws.
So you got till next year to straighten it out.
Yeah, so potentially between now and the next board of directors meeting, we could come up with some solution for that and
If
maybe
the board
remove it.
approve it.
Yeah, so that's just something to think about.
I forgot about that when we were talking about it, because that was.
That's why we keep struggling,
Right.
right? Because it's in the bylaws.
Right.
But I don't have any other, I have nothing to update on the government side.
Alright. Well, as I said before, we don't meet in August because of the transition with the annual meeting and not knowing the dynamics of, existing board versus new board, all of that kind of stuff. We don't feel that it's necessary for us to meet to go over anything at this time. And we'll reconvene in September, which one of our tasks then will be to do the annual report at that time, to start talking about that, what we'll put in there. So tentatively, because I have not gotten a response yet back, I submitted for September 13th, which is that second Friday.
Yeah.
Is that still good for everybody?
That's good for me.
Well, the two committee members are here, but I think that should be fine. And then, as you can see, I did list the other ones down at the bottom. So if they're all approved, then we would be meeting September 13th, October 11th, November 8th, and
Yes, sir.
December 13th.
Yep.
You want to say it again?
Yeah.
September 13th,
Okay,
October 11th,
okay.
November 8th, and December 13th. And at that
Friday the
point,
13th?
yeah. Actually, two of them, September 13th and December 13th, two Fridays with the 13th in there.
Make those short meetings.
So,
Year 66666.
if Michelle or Linda get back to me that there's conflict for this room on any of those dates, I'll let you know. But then by November, we'll start, we'll know who is on our committee. I think someone might have to renew his third term if he would like to stay. In the
Is that me?
fall. Yes, that's you in September. Come on now, he's gonna leave us. But we do one more year with us. And then
I could do like these guys. I could drop out and just hang out.
We're gonna need a bigger room.
the retirees group, is that what we're gonna be?
Yeah,
Retirees.
Retirees, guest services.
So, but yeah, so is there anything else that needs to be discussed? Because we're not voting, or I don't have to officially adjourn the meeting. We're just going to end it. But is there anything else?
I have nothing.
All right. Well, thank you to everyone. Thank you, Jim, for attending. Thank you to our other guests who, I appreciate you, viewing our meeting, and, we'll see you in September. Okay? So have a good rest of your week.